Really? This is what you wanted to see? Yeah, because everyone requested this, right? Well, actually, wait a minute. Only one person did. Yeah, who was that? Probably you. You wanted me to make this video, good for you. And that's why you did the whole shebang-a-bang that one night. When the power was out. Okay. Okay. Can you say anything other than yes? I made you say no. Okay. If that means that you would leave me alone for a little while, then okay, I'll do the video. Roll it.
Growing up, Sesame Street was one of the shows that I would watch as a kid. And even as time goes on, I would check it out to this day. However, there was something about that show that not only keeps me coming back even as an adult, but also has me asking, wow, that's a thing. The character in question? The Count Von Count. For some reason, he seems to be one of my guilty pleasures because we share similarities. 1, we're both weird. 2, we obsess over a certain topic. And 3, we like to stare at a camera and go on and on and on about said topic. And yeah, as you can tell already, I have a t-shirt of this guy. Fun fact, my mom saw me wear this t-shirt one day and said, "Oh, isn't that Count Dracula?" No, wait. Wow, Mom. This show came out when you were knee-high, and you don't know who Count Von Count is? Hashtag live under a rock. Speaking of living under a rock, apparently this guy hasn't changed a bit, other than having 2 voice actors over the years, and going from a real castle setting to standing in front of a green screen to display a phoned-in CG castle. Exhibit A, Your Honor! By the way, when analyzing this Sesame Street character, I might sound like down the rabbit hole, but hey, I like that YouTube channel, and I've subscribed. So who is Count Von Count? And how did he go from one of the most controversial character choices made for Sesame Street to a number-counting TV icon? During the early years of Sesame Street, the Count had first appeared in the 4th season of the show in 1972. Well, better late than never, right? He made his debut in the segment with Bert and Ernie, counting Ernie's blocks without their permission and stunning them with his magic powers. Okay, first off, don't be surprised at this. Why? Well, 1, he's a vampire, of course, and 2, he might have had that power of stunning and hypnotizing people back then, but that immediately got discontinued because Sesame Workshop, or the Children's Television Workshop as it was called back then, wouldn't dare introduce villains into the series and warp the minds of little children. Honestly, I wouldn't mind the hypnotizing powers just as long as it's done in a comedic manner. But anyway, the Count was welcomed by viewers with open arms, with the late Jerry Nelson voicing the character, and the character acting friendlier and less mischievous, even though he would normally go above and beyond with his counting, and he might do questionable stuff here and there, like...
Elmo should have stayed outside.
Come, my friend.
Yeah, don't worry, kids. He teaches numbers. that was only some of many instances of questionable stuff. Don't worry. Regardless, I like his charisma, and I especially like the number organ segments that were featured in later seasons. The routine would be that Count would press different keys on the organ, and the pipes would sing a number from 1 to 20, stopping at a random number. Heck, there was even a time when the organ would vanish as a way of saying that the number of the day was, well, you get the idea. Anyway, those segments were fun and exciting. In fact, they suck you right in, with all the wiggle room that both the puppeteers handling the character and the cameras. I mean, take this episode where he emerges from behind the curtain and walks over to you behind the treasure chest, and then moves over to the organ. That's a lot of wiggle room. Or this episode where he follows the camera from a dim corner as he talks to us. Now going back to the charisma, there's one episode where he does this. Yep. Not to mention in that particular episode, he sings.
Deep in the night, when the full moon is bright and the dogs begin to bay.
What?
And the dogs begin to bay.
I'm sorry, what? At first, I didn't know what that third line was, but then I looked it up. In fact, I have the episode in question that I've bought and downloaded from iTunes, and I had turned on the subtitles for it, so here you go, here's what was said.
And the dogs begin to bay.
What does that even mean? Look, you might as well replace that lyric with something, 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 and call it a day, but whatever. So the Count has had multiple girlfriends, most notably Countess Darling von Darling, who seems to be the main girl in his life, even sharing segments with her in later scenes. Okay, not bad. I'm not gonna lie, that's not bad. However, with all the good things coming from the Count moving forward, that eye candy of the castle settings and engaging number of the day segments would not last. Now, don't get me wrong, the later number of the day segments are serviceable. However, after the death of Jerry Nelson in 2012, there were some big changes. Most notably, changes in the voice acting. Matt Vogel, who had worked alongside Nelson, eventually took over the role, with his first Count Von Count performance being the Counting the U's in YouTube, which celebrated the show's milestone of reaching 1 billion views on YouTube. Two things. One, that video looks like the Count was planning world domination with him appearing on people's screens. Okay, seriously, shouldn't y'all two be working? And two, the voice acting. One can argue that Vogel's performance differs from Nelson's, because Vogel's voice sounds gruffer and, rougher around the edges. But hey, if Barney the dinosaur had different voice actors during his time, then the Count is no exception. Plus, it was reported that Jerry Nelson's health had started to deteriorate in 2004, so he handed over puppeteering duties over to Vogel while still providing the voice for the Count. But you could definitely tell that Nelson was trying to do his best, even as his health was continuing to decline.
Now it's time for one of my favorite things in the whole wide world. Yes, the number of the day. Is I the Count. They call me the Count because I love to count things. In fact, I am looking for some things to count right now.
Then enter Vogel, who took over both puppeteering and voice acting after Nelson's passing.
Okay, Oscar, how many more times do you want me to count 0?
Now, I'm not gonna lie. Vogel's performance is serviceable, even though it differs from Nelson's voice acting. However, I gotta be honest, the Count's castle going from a physical setting to CG laziness, that was dumb. Heck, that farmer's insurance commercial with the Count did a way better job giving him a real castle setting than you guys. Idiots! But whatever. Looks like the CG laziness is here to stay, no matter how many times we might complain about it. In the meantime, the Count continues to be a resident on Sesame Street. And to be honest with you guys, if the Count left Sesame Street, then I would definitely boycott, cause that's like trying to bake a cake without the cake mix. The Count Von Count serves as an example who has not only stood the test of time, regardless of how long this show has been around, or the fact that he's over 1 million years old. Dang. But he's also living proof that anyone can obsess over a niche and enjoy coming into work to dedicate their lives to that niche. And that's something I can relate to. That was sort of how LarryBoy Fanatic started. I love talking about LarryBoy, and I would like to dedicate my life to that topic. And before I knew it, this channel came into fruition. And although mathematics was never really my thing growing up, this character makes me appreciate it more because of his approach and his charisma. So yeah, I would definitely raise a glass to this man and wish him many more years on the show. So yeah, cheers.
So you're a good mastermind, apparently. I gotta give you credit. You may be smart with numbers, but you're also smart with devious plots, devious plans. I gotta hand it to you, Count. You win. Your plan worked. Good for you. Oh. Oh. You're welcome. You're not so bad after all. Close, dang it. I'll probably use you in a future video. Don't worry.